I'm going to teach you how to balance a chemical equation. Illustrated here is a chemical equation that needs to be balanced. There's a left side, which has a lithium atom and two oxygen atoms. The chemical reaction resulted in this compound, which has two lithium atoms and one oxygen atom. This equation, both sides, are not balanced, so our job is to balance that. Three things to remember about balancing equations. Number one, subscripts in a compound are fixed. These are your subscripts. They cannot be changed because this makes up this compound. Again, on the right hand side, this is a subscript for lithium. If you make this a 1, a 4, or any other number, this no longer is the correct compound. So to illustrate this, I have here a water compound or a water molecule. With the water molecule, you have H2O, two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. The subscript is the 2 here. If we were to make this a 1, this no longer is a water compound or water molecule. So therefore we cannot change the subscripts. This right here to illustrate is a coefficient. When adding a coefficient to a compound, all you're doing is making the number of the compound. You're multiplying the entire compound. So therefore, you're not affecting the individual atoms in this compound. So to illustrate more, this is kind of a representation of the water compound. Again, you have two hydrogen atoms bonded to an oxygen atom. If you were to make the subscript of this 1, you would no longer have that hydrogen atom, and therefore no longer would be a water molecule. So, subscripts again cannot be changed. However, if we were to, all you're basically saying is you have 4 of the water molecules. So this would be times 4. And that's all that coefficient here is doing. To get back to the balancing equation, some methods for a balancing equation is number 1, start with the most complex compound. This will be the one containing the most types of elements. So if you're comparing the right to the left hand side of these equations, the right hand side is more complicated, meaning it's a bigger or complex compound. These are just individual kind of deals. One lithium atom, and then you have a compound here. This is more complicated. So we'll start with this side. It's recommended when balancing equations that you use a pencil, because you'll probably be doing some erasing as you're trying to balance. Number 2, balance the less complex compound. So we'll start with the right hand side. So basically what you want to do is you want to add up how many atoms are in each side. So starting with the lithium, I see that I have 2 total lithium atoms, and that's indicated by the subscript that times the lithium. I have only 1 oxygen atom. So that's everything that I have on this right hand side. So go to the left hand side. With the lithium here, I only have 1 lithium ion or atom, because there's nothing there's no coefficient in the beginning and there's no subscript at the bottom. So I only have 1. With the oxygen atom, or just this compound here I should say, I have 2 of the oxygen atoms. So I'll represent that with, and then I'll illustrate that with 2. So basically you can see how this equation is not balanced. I have 2 lithium ions on the right hand side and only 1 on the left, not balanced. I only have 1 oxygen atom on the right hand side and 2 on the left, again not balanced. So our job is to balance this. So we will start with the most complex compound, which is this side, and we'll see how we can balance it. If I were to add again, I cannot add subscripts, I can only add coefficients, because if I add a subscript, it changes the whole dynamic of that compound. It makes it something different. If I can only add coefficients. So if I were to start off by trying to change this oxygen atom, because I need 2 to balance it out, it makes sense for me to make this coefficient a 2. What this does, it changes the whole dynamic of this compound. It multiplies the whole compound. So we have to make changes here. So there are going to be 2 of this compound, or this deal here. So 2 times 2 will change this number into a 4. So 2 times this oxygen atom will make this the 2. So what we've done here, we balanced the oxygen atom, but we have not balanced the lithium atom. Therefore, we must try to change that. We can't do anything more on this side. We now have to go to the left-hand side. I won't try to do anything with my oxygen atoms here because they're balanced. So I'm only concentrating on the lithium one. So what makes more sense? What makes the most sense to make this a 4 is to simply add a 4 to the coefficient here. So therefore, I now have 4 lithium atoms. And the last step to balancing the equation is to double check to make sure that everything is correct. So starting on the left-hand side, we will just assure that we have 4 lithium atoms. I can see that the coefficient 4 to the lithium atom is the number 4. And then over here, I have 2 times the 2, which equals the 4 for that lithium atom. So I can say that both sides check out for the lithium. Going to oxygen, I see I have 2 oxygen atoms total. And then on the right-hand side, with the coefficient, it times that one, the oxygen, and I have 2 because of the coefficient. That equation is balanced. That is how you balance an equation.